is Gun Nation United, and I'm Guns, and this is Creator.
Hey, how's it going, people? For all of you wondering, Leon is not here with us because there's a little thing called coronavirus. But on a good note, me and Guns are here to bring you a exciting video. It's going to be a series going on where we go and analyze weapons from anime, and the first weapon is going to be Crescent Rose. So before we get started, make sure you have a six-pack, crack one open. I'm actually drinking the Crying Eagle Louisiana Lager right now, and yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
So, take it away, buddy.
This would be our first real video, and our first video is going to be of Ruby's from the show RWBY. It's going to be Ruby's scythe.
Ruby's Crescent Rose.
Yeah.
It's her scythe. So what we did is we broke this video into basically two parts. Guns is going to go over the attributes from the show, and I'm going to go over basically researching if the weapon could be made. So that's what we're doing now. So Guns, go ahead and tell the people what you found and all that good stuff.
You guys never watched RWBY before. RWBY's weapon is, of course, a scythe/sniper rifle. And there's 3 different modes. As the storage mode, where it becomes compact. The rifle mode, where you just have the rifle. And the scythe, to where you can use the scythe and the rifle. What you got to add on that?
I mean, yeah, that's its basic form. So, in the actual anime, Ruby, it's on the storage mode. She's small, and she uses it on the storage, and she puts it up her sleeve, literally up her sleeve. And when she's ready to
on her back.
Is it on the back?
Yeah, it's on her back.
No, I think some of it's up her sleeves, but
It compacts into like a little rectangle, and it's on her back.
Okay, well, so it's on her back, and she can use it there. Basically, make it small for her to kind of like John's weapon. You can make his shield small. So that is storage mode. It's literally what it stands for. It's storage. Yeah, making it smaller. And the second part is the rifle mode, where it takes the form of a medium length rifle, bolt action rifle. In this form, the scythe mates for more effective use of medium, close to medium attacks. So, yeah, I mean, basically the rifle mode pulls it out. Medium length, could be effective long range, whatever. Close combat, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the rifle mode. It's just the rifle itself. And the cipher mode is the most extended form of it, when it fully extends into the form of a scythe, allowing it to be used mid to close range blade melee weapon. This form also doubles as a long barrel sniper rifle for long range shots without giving up the melee capabilities of the scythe. It's also stated that if needed, the bottom of the shaft fold to add more cutting power in a close quarters fight. So pretty much, you know, as you could tell from the little bit of anime, she can do a lot with it. You know, she's got pretty much every basis covered. She's got close, mid, and long range.
Yeah,
So anything.
she can use it to propel herself in different directions if need be in a fight.
Hmm. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of examples throughout the anime,
Hmm.
but I mean, pretty much the weapon. Uh, well, we're gonna get into real life stuff because there's a couple real life examples that I looked into the research, and I'm pretty excited about that. But essentially, again, she has all of her bases covered, and it's essentially a gun that can transform into a scythe. I mean, it's pretty much what it is. So,
Yep.
yeah. And the way she uses it, she can do unbelievable things with it based on the world of the anime. Not only
Yeah.
can she use the cipher in the rifle mode, but she can use it the storage mode to be able to, like throw
Ha,
herself
ha,
around.
yeah.
Kind of like was it a long pole?
Yeah. Just best guess
Yeah.
long pole
Mm.
because that's
So the
what it is.
physics in the show, make total sense, guys. Wow, geez, the anime makes a lot of sense. But
Yeah.
no, I mean I don't really know what else to say. I mean, she uses it and she's capable of using it a lot of different ways, and it's very interesting to see. It's one of my favorite weapons in all of anime, just because of all the all the check marks that you can check off for your bases. You know, no matter what type of encounter, you can find a way to use the weapon, the Crescent Rose,
Yeah.
as a way to beat the enemy.
Yep.
So, uh, and Guns, if he's so kind, he can actually give a couple examples of fights from Ruby, where she has been able to transform her weapon to specifically what she needed to do. So go ahead, Guns.
Well, it'll be her first major fight when they were sent off into a forest to collect relics, little
Mm-hmm.
chess pieces to form a team. I think it was to form a team. They faced off against this huge grim bird, and she had used her scythe to propel herself while having the scythe blade around the bird's neck up a cliff while she was firing it
She, she used her teammate
twice.
Rice, and she basically had Rice. I don't even know what you would call it. It's almost like how you gravity can change the gravity from My Hero. It's kind of the same thing. She basically put these pads, I guess you would call them, on the wall, so she was able to
Right?
essentially climb the wall while her scythe was around the boar's head and lift it all the way up. And when she got to the top,
She decapitated.
she um, and in the same fight, another example you could say is when it was flying, she was using her high caliber rifle to use it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
two examples right there. It's just an overall, again, it's just an overall quick and easy weapon which she can use. I mean, when I was 12 years old, I'd love to be able to use something like that. But it's not how the real world is. But it's cool to watch an anime and
Yeah.
see the way that she uses it because her uncle gave it to her and trained her in it. And if I'm not mistaken, it also stated that her uncle was the greatest scythe wielder in
Yeah.
all of the land, pretty
Yeah.
much. So,
Most well known.
and I know. I mean, she was always pretty good at it. I don't know because I'm not fully caught up. I know you're caught up. I don't know if in the later season. Do you have anything to comment on that? Like, if she gets better with it, if there's mods or anything more
Yeah,
she can do with it in the later
uh,
seasons? If you
I
would
think
care to elaborate on
it
that.
is in the latest season, season 7 or volume 7, where she goes to Atlas and gets her scythe upgraded. It's not like a crazy upgrade, but it's more like a tune-up.
What new features?
Gave Ruby the ability to activate a trigger on the upper handle that will then rotate the scythe's blade to 180 degrees, where you know the first time you see it, her use that part, the new part, is in the Snee Dust Company mine, the Sentinel, through the use of her rotated blade.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's. Do you have anything else to add as far as like anime goes? Anything in your and abilities wise? Any extra things? I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory for anybody who's seen the anime or
Yeah,
even who hasn't. It's literally a scythe that has a rifle built into it, so
yeah,
you can see the multi-function use of it.
yeah, pretty much.
So, do you have anything else to add to that part?
No, that's pretty
Okay.
much it.
For those of you wondering, I actually have notes right here, and I'm going to go over those notes right now. So, yes, it's actually classified as a high caliber sniper scythe, or HCSS for short on the show. Although I don't think they ever say HCSS. I think they just call it the high caliber sniper scythe. But, whatever. Again, it's got the storage, it's got the rifle, it's got the cipher. Anyway, so the scythe, when I'm looking into this, you have to think about, you have to think about a couple things. You have to think about history, you have to think about technology, you have to think about physics, you have to think all that stuff. So I went and started doing some research, and there was a couple forums that had some good points, and I'll link the forums in the description for you. Anybody, and basically the forum was going over weapons in Ruby in general. It didn't like specify any specific weapon. It was just people putting their opinions on it, and some of them had some good points, some of them had some bad points. Uh, so I looked on there and I said, okay, what I wrote down some of the good points, wrote down some of the bad points, and I'm like, okay, let's take this a step further. Let's actually break these down into physics and everything else to see what we can find, just out of curiosity. Why not? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and the very first thing was that I found was I wanted to start with the history because I think if you look at the previous weapons, you can kind of determine what we can and can't do, and then you can actually see how far we've come with weapons. So, I think you're going to be interested, any gun enthusiasts here, and I know guns, I mean, obviously it's in his name, so I'm pretty sure he'll be interested.
yeah.
Guns. Can you think of a close resembling weapon uh, that we had in our lifetime that combined basically combined melee and uh, rifle capabilities?
Yeah, rifle with the.
Ding, 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 ding. So these were pretty, you know, people still today use them, and once I read off this list, I think you guys will understand more. So I went on and I went to Bayonet and I looked up like the newest models, which people still use bayonets for. Um, and so let's just dive right in. So I'm gonna name off the country, and I'm gonna name the weapon with the actual bayonet as well. So the first country we're gonna start off with is Russia, and actually in their AK, they use an AK-47 weapon with a AKM bayonet. So okay, what else? United States, they use a M16, America's favorite baby,
Yep.
with an M7 bayonet. Okay, you go to China, and you're gonna see the Type 56 assault rifle with, and this is interesting, a folding bayonet. So not only do they have bayonets that actually attach and detach to your weapon, but they also have foldable ones. And again, all these pictures will be fine on screen, so you'll be able to see it. So, I mean, rifle, folding bayonet, it may not be a scythe, but, you know, what's saying it couldn't be? Moving on the list, we're going to go to good old Belgium. One of my favorite beers actually hails from Belgium, by the way. It's called Duke, if anybody's ever had it. And they have something called the FN Fall that actually has 2 bayonet capabilities. Moving on to the UK, all the British peeps out there. They have the L3A1 with a stock bayonet. Moving on from the UK, we're going to go to Austria, and they have a Settler AUG with 2 bayonets. So again, being able to put 2 bayonets on it. Next up, we are going to Germany, and they use the H&K G3 rifle with 2 bayonets, both above the mount. So you can add 2 bayonets, both. And then lastly, France, who also uses H&K, although they use the H&K 416F rifle with a Elkhorn SG 2000 WCF bayonet. Guns enthusiasts, specifics, everything, but I mean, found that interesting because you have a situation kind of like Ruby, right? You have a rifle capability, and you have a bayonet, which could, and you have folding bayonets, which it's like maybe one day you might be able to have that rifle that can fold in and out into a bayonet, with a scythe on it, I mean,
Yeah.
they were using these weapons in World War One and World War Two, and that was, almost that was 100 years ago. So with new technology getting better every day, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do it. Now, I know some people are going to be like, well, wouldn't it be heavy and this and that? And that's a valid argument. And I have one simple suggestion to be able to fix that problem as far as heaviness goes, if they were to make something similar. Now, I don't think we have the technology to make anything, like this now, but let's just hypothetically say in the future we'll have something. I think they'll be able to use
Yeah, because
go ahead, Guns. I'm sorry.
Back in the ancient days, they used bronze, and then they used iron, and then it became steel.
Yes.
So it's always improving.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you think? What do you think I found that they could use in the future that has that made stuff lighter?
I don't know.
Titanium. Titanium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's aluminum. It's titanium.
It's made out of aluminum foil.
Yeah. No. So it's titanium, and for you guys that don't know, just a couple of facts is titanium has the same weight as aluminum while having the strength of steel. So it can be light.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot of stuff with it. Keep in mind, properly throughout, hardened steel is still stronger. So the steel is obviously still stronger, but hardened steel is still stronger. So again, keep that in mind. But when it comes to lightness and stuff like that, blah blah blah. And it can also be used for weapons. Now it would be expensive though. You could use titanium for weapon building to make it lighter, faster, velocity, more velocity and stuff like that. But it would be expensive. And as I just said, it makes it lighter, more velocity, but less mass. However, penetration would be better, just less damage. So a good way to think about this, right? If they were to use titanium to make this weapon, think about it like a 9mm versus a 45. Okay, the 9mm would indeed have more velocity and be faster, but that 45 is always and will always have that impact on it.
Yeah, because bigger bullet.
Yeah, bigger bullet, more mass, right? More mass. Like I just read, it's got more mass. So just keep that in mind. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that we already have weapons that have bayonets on them, which can already fold down. So what's stopping us from using some type of scythe? And also that we could use titanium to drop the weight down. The only problem with that is that because of the less mass, the penetration would be better, but it would have less damage, right? So again, think about the 9mm versus the 45mm. 9mm is going to have more velocity, it's going to be faster, it's going to have all that stuff, but the damage and the mass from the impact isn't going to be as much as something like a 40 or 45, right?
Yep.
So another thing that just really quick that somebody suggested, even if the weight, okay, if you bring physics into it, even with the weight, right? If you bring physics into it, momentum, is always going to help you out when it comes to weight stuff. So you could have something heavy, but if you have the momentum backing it, and I'll put the formula, you'll see it. But if you have the momentum behind it, then you'll be able to move stuff around. I mean, I'm not saying it won't be heavy, but if you're, I mean, like look at the show, right? And Guns, you can attest to this. She's swinging her stuff. Most of the time she isn't just standing around. She's using her momentum to be able to swing and cut through and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use your momentum to be able to do it. So just something to keep in mind. Also, really quickly here, that another person had suggested, the rounds. Well, because it's a high caliber rifle that Ruby is using, Ruby Rose is using. Just because it's a high caliber rifle doesn't necessarily, and me and Guns had this talk beforehand, so he can jump in here. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go with a 50. And even if you did go with a 50, there's still 50s out there which you can use just as a normal rifle, such as the 50 Beowulf,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's made as a rifle. It's got a 16-inch barrel, and it still brings that punch, and it's more accurate because it's going, well, and it's still accurate, coming out of a 16-inch barrel, and yeah, I mean, not only that, but based on new technology, let's take a look at and I own one of these. Let's take a look at the macaroni, right? You can actually fold the macaroni. Kind of similar to the show. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, keeping those two things in mind, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. And with a macaroni, you can put a 45 in there, you know?
Yeah.
So, and again, if you want to bring it down even lower, right? You could still do like as far as caliber goes, you can still do something like a 338 or a 30-06 or a 308, you know, and still have some decent impact behind it,
Yeah.
you know. Hell, if you want to bring it down to a 9 mil, you can. People make Scorpions, which can fold, by the way, with 9 mil. So what's stopping when you unfold it, it having a little, scythe come out or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't, you know. To make it exactly like Ruby's, I don't think we're there yet. But I think, somebody could potentially take a macaroni and put a scythe on it, and
Yeah.
or a bayonet on it, and it would be a similar concept.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be exact. I'm not going to sit here and say it's exactly a weapon. Yeah, I think somebody could absolutely do that. Again, they already have wolves that they've been using for or Beowulfs. They already have bayonets that they've been using for 100 years. So, and they fold,
Yeah.
and they're a rifle, and they could be close melee, uh, close melee, medium or long range. So why not? The only other thing I have is somebody had brought up, and I don't know why they would bring it up. I might even, yeah, I don't know. But servos, talking about using servos, which for those that don't know what that are, and I don't see how this is related. Maybe Guns sees how this could be related. But what they actually are is they're used in radio controlled airplanes to position control surfaces like elevators, walking robot, or operating grippers, and they are small and have a built-in control circuit and have good power for their size. So maybe putting one of those in there to fold and unfold, maybe? I don't know. Considering it's small, I don't know. That's the only thing I see, but I don't even think you need one of those. Depending on how you design it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just an opinion. I'm not an engineer. I'm not going to sit here and say we're engineers. We just wanted to come at you with a quick video based on our weapons experience. And believe me, I fired enough weapons courses to know, somewhat what I'm talking about. And say, that, yeah, I think you could achieve the same result without having to use one of those. Are we quite there to make it look like rubies yet? No, I've said that already in the video, but
Yep.
it could be done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it can.
And that's pretty much all I have on my end. It's really short, sweet, and to the point. We're trying to get this knocked out and
Yeah.
not take up too much people's times. But that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else?
No.
That's guns.
We pretty much
That
said our
on this?
piece. So.
Anyway, guys, if you like this style of videos, we appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out NetSuite's video. We're gonna be posting. We're gonna be live streaming every Wednesday night, and we're gonna be posting every Thursday. So next week we're gonna do another weapons video like this. So stay tuned for that. And